Hey everybody, this is Raghee. Just want to get a quick audio check in. We will get started momentarily. So thank you as always for your time and being here. We still have some people streaming into the room. So to give everybody just about another minute and then we will get started. Audio's okay. We'll get the video up in just a moment. Excellent. All right. Thank you so much. Okay, gang, just give me another minute and we will get started. All right, gang, welcome to the Forex webinar. We're going to get a quick intro and audio check before we get started. So everyone should be seeing the dominating the largest market screen and my mug on the, okay, excellent, good to go. Awesome. All right, so as always, thank you for being here. We're going to be presenting for about an hour, and we will be setting aside some time for Q&A. And so if you want to type them in, I'll get back to them. But if you want to kind of keep your questions until the Q&A period, that would be terrific so I don't miss anything. We're going to cover a lot of material, so chances are I will cover it at some point during our presentation. But if I don't, of course, like I said, we'll leave some time for Q&A. All right, so audio is good. All right, sound is spotty. Well, let me ask the group here. Video is good. How is the sound, everybody? Is the sound all right? Audio, okay, perfect. So if you're having any issues with audio, I would highly recommend, well, the first fix is usually come back in the room. Just kind of exit out and come back. Sometimes you might want to check any programs that might be running in the background on your PC. That sometimes can be it that's kind of stealing the bandwidth from our time here. All right, excellent. Audio is great. That's what I love hearing. And again, my apologies if you're having some issues. I sound like Darth Vader's sister. While Bill, I actually do sound like Darth Vader's sister. I'm only kidding. Maybe cousin. So if you want to re-enter the room, check if anything is happening in the background, and I will do the same on my end, but I think we are good to go. All right, so let's get started, shall we, gang? This is being recorded, so it usually takes us a couple hours to get the video out, but usually expect it maybe tomorrow at some point, so we will have the replay out to you all in plenty of time to check it out. All right, I'm the Vader of Forex. Oh, I like that, Max. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, so you guys are, yeah, you're talking my language. All right, let's get going. All right, gang. Again, welcome to Dominating the Largest Market, how Forex is the right place to be right now. And if you're joining me for the first time on this topic, terrific. We're going to be covering some basics on why the timing is great to be a Forex trader. I've been Forex trading for 20 years. If this is your second time with me, we're going to be covering some new things. And so, again, keep pen and paper handy. Let's get to it. All right, so I love this image. Forex trading is not a mission impossible. And so the thing to remember about Forex is there's a lot of bad information out there. But the truth is this. There has never been a better time to become a Forex trader. And again, you're talking to someone who's been trading Forex since 1999, since 1899. So the thing to remember about Forex is the fact that it is new. All right. Now right now the playing field has never been more level. So what we're going to talk about tonight is how to capture the big Forex trends without losing sleep, without years of study and complicated, time-consuming analysis. And I hope that this is what I bring to the table anytime that I'm talking about trading, because the fact is we want to keep it simple. The more complex we make it, the more chance we have for making mistakes. So while listening to me, just a quick rundown. I've been trading futures, stocks, options for 20 years, or sorry, for 30 years. I've been trading Forex for 20. And the reason for that difference, that chasm of 10 years, is Forex was available in the US in 1999. So again, it's relatively new. So if you're still kind of getting used to it, no problem. It's probably something that you've heard a lot of misinformation about. In the past, I've managed a couple $1 million accounts, multi-million-dollar accounts, until I realized I don't want to manage money for other people. I like being a private trader. So I said, thanks, but no thanks. It was flattering, learned a lot. And I'm a published author on the topic of Forex. My favorite in terms of authoring anything was actually my time as a technical editor on the Forex for Dummies, if you will. It was actually currency trading for dummies. You guys familiar with the For Dummies series here? I was super flattered to be asked to do the technical editing, which is, I went back to study the writing to make sure that everything was correct factually. And I learned a lot about what we do need to know as Forex traders and what's more like encyclopedic knowledge. It's interesting to know, but it really doesn't help the bottom line. And that was a terrific experience for me, because I started to parse between things you guys really need to know and things that sound cool at the water cooler. I was chief currency analyst for 2 major brokers, and then I got to travel all over the world teaching people about Forex. So why is now a new opportunity in Forex trading? Forex has been the playground for big traders. Some of you might have heard of a guy named George Soros, and a lot of other big traders who have been playing currencies in the Forex market for decades. But the playing field is as level right now as it has ever been. Information, price discovery, even the tools that allow us to understand what's going on in the markets affords us now opportunities we did not have, opportunities that really were reserved for the big guys trading tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars. And now we can come into the market as retail traders with a lot of those advantages. The risk control, the cost, everything is better now than it has ever been in the 20 years that Forex has been available in the US. So let's get right to it. The bottom line is, Rod, can I do well trading Forex? Do I have to trade big? So let's talk about small accounts in Forex for a minute. So what you're looking at are a couple of trades in the euro, actually one trade, one round trip, one in, one out, that I had in the euro US. And you can see under quantity, I had 2 lots, not 200, not 20, 2 lots. We'll talk about position sizing here soon. You can see where I got in, where I got out. And what this is a trade that allowed me to trade for a very small amount of money and really move the needle. Okay, so small accounts, absolutely. Absolutely something that you can embrace, you can use. So 2, that means just 2 lots, and we'll talk about margin and things like that. But these are what's known as a full-size lot, where on margin, I'm able to control $100,000 of currency. I didn't need 100,000, gang, not at all. I actually needed, in this case, just 2% of that, just 2% of that to net 14.8. Okay, let's talk about another example. So that's the euro US. Here's the pound versus US, right? Again, just 2. Now, mostly you're going to notice you can control a single lot for about 2 to 5%. 2 to 5%. That's the power of leverage, right? So here's the pound versus US. Okay. And the idea again is you don't need to put a lot of capital at risk, and you don't need to use a lot of capital to get any kind of needle moving action. This is a 19.7 trade. Now, the pound is a little bit more expensive to trade. I believe that one's a 5% margin requirement. But again, if you're talking about moving $100,000 lots, or $200,000 lots, and 5% is all you need of that to really, again, move the needle. So you really can utilize the power of leverage. We'll talk about leverage being a double-edged sword, but nothing has the kind of horsepower that the Forex affords. It's a lot of horsepower, and in the right hands and in the right market, again, this is the euro yen. This has been a really good pair to me. And I'll show you how we can take advantage of finding, how did I find these, right? To be able to short. This is a short sell, bought it back. Okay. So again, just 2 lots. And typically you're going to be talking about 2 to 5% margin requirement. So this isn't, again, 20. I'm not talking about trading huge sums of money. No way. That's what's at risk. Just 2 lots. So again, a lot of horsepower in the right hands and in the right market, to really move the needle. So one of the first things I get a lot of, and the holding period on those was actually on some of those, I'd cycled in and out over the course of months. These were big trends. We talked about taking advantage of big trends. HP, those were end of day charts, daily chart trades. Yes, absolutely. It took some time, right? I wasn't making a big bet. Right. That's a great question. All right. So one of the common questions I do get, or comments or issues, problems, is, Raghee, I have a small account. How many folks here do have a small account or would consider themselves small account traders where, I'm interested in Forex, but I don't want to dedicate a lot of capital. I don't want to take a lot of capital out of other markets. I'm with you, right? We have traders that trade options and trade futures and want to trade Forex. So the idea is to allocate a little bit of money. So yeah, a lot of us might be starting with a small account, right? Once upon a time, I did too. So margin really is one of the things that we want to utilize in order to take a little bit of money into a market that we may not be sure we want to dedicate a lot of time and capital to, but margin is one of those things that's going to make a huge difference. So you can take a small amount of money and be able to start trading Forex. And that is all because of leverage, right? So small account solution, margin, gang. And I know margin is always sort of the bad guy, but usually you will find people that get hurt by margin are the ones that aren't letting a strategy, a time-tested strategy and a process drive their trades, okay? All right, so what can margin do for a Forex trader? What did margin do for me back in '99? I was actively trading stocks. I was actively trading futures. I just started day trading the new E-minis, if you remember, back in '99. So what can margin do for a Forex trader? Again, it allows us to allocate a small amount of money into Forex, but you can control leverage and you don't have to use 50 to 1. I think a lot of folks get scared by this number. Don't, because you can call your broker and say, yeah, I don't want to use all 50 to 1. I'm brand new, let me use a little less leverage. So don't let anybody scare you away because the leverage is too big. You can absolutely lower it, right? Most people don't want to. And why would you, right? If you had the strength to go into the gym and lift heavy weights, why not lift heavy weights? But you need good form, right? You need some practice. So can you get to a 50 to 1 and really benefit from that? Absolutely. You can also trade small position size to control risk. Some of you might have heard the story where I was on a new platform testing it out, and I wanted to move around 8 lots, which is approximately $800,000 of the euro. That was a trade I wanted to put on. So I put in 8, and it ended up I was trading just $8, right? So when I tell you can really control risk with smaller position size, I'm not kidding. If you want to put on a trade with $1,000 in terms of margin, so 2% of 1,000, can you trade really small to test out ideas? Absolutely. All right. You don't have to trade size that you are uncomfortable with. And that's one of the first mistakes a lot of traders make. And you will find it's not as common in the Forex markets because of the flexibility in terms of size. So we can start with a smaller account, benefit from leverage. And this is one that, again, I don't want to get ahead of myself and you want to talk to your broker, but this is one of the things that is very cool about Forex. And I do have the asterisk, so let me make sure you guys hear me. Most Forex brokers are going to tell you that they will guarantee the stop losses. Now, some of you who here remembers when the Swiss National Bank, and a lot of folks stayed away from Forex because of this, the Swiss National Bank unpegged the Swiss franc from the euro, and you guys remember there was an 1,800 pip drop. Some people made a lot of money. Some people lost a lot. Do you guys remember that? You might have heard about this a few years back. It was a big enough move that some Forex brokers went out of business. Am I trying to scare you here? Not at all. Unless it's a huge event like that. I've been trading Forex, like I said, since '99. That's the first and so far only time anything like that has actually happened. But let me mention this. One of the things that you're really going to want to be aware of is, how does your broker have your back? There was one broker out there that I know of, and I'm sure there might not have been a few. This was the biggest broker out there that said, you know what? We're going to make sure none of our traders are in margin call. So your partner matters big time, but talk to your broker. They will tell you stop losses are guaranteed Monday through Friday. Now, what other market can you actually get that? Now, unless there's a major event, right? But Monday through Friday, your stop losses are guaranteed. It's pretty cool. You won't get that in other markets. So right away, you're thinking, yeah, nobody really told me that I can trade with less margin, really any size I want. The thing about the stop. So right away, hopefully the wheels are turning. So yeah, this isn't the monster under the bed that a lot of times people have made it out to be. So this is what I learned about Forex over the past 20 years. No market trades and trends, no market trends like the Forex market. Forex trends are longer lasting. And the reason? It's not magic, it's central banks. The things that move the Forex market are much more like the tectonic plates. It takes a lot to get them moving, but once they get moving, they're really going to move. There are multiple ways to play a trend. One of the things that I think a lot of traders are interested in is either the very long-term trends that I've shown you guys, the big trends, right? But also the intraday trends. Intraday trends in Forex are amazing. Two of my favorite intraday markets to trade are the euro and the yen. You can day trade them essentially with that same leverage and take advantage of intraday 5 or 15-minute trends. So there are multiple ways to play a trend. Up, down, also longer term and also shorter term, 5-minute, 15-minute charts. Leverage helps trend traders get more for their buck. Now, those trades that I showed you when the euro, the pound, and the euro yen, the reason I was able to do that within a relatively short period of time with a small amount of capital was because I have leverage. But don't let that be the bad guy, okay? One of the things that I've learned is how to identify the trends, right? Not having to follow macro, not having to do all sorts of in-depth macro research, but how do we use some simple tools to identify trends? And like I said, Forex trends are the best, period, because of why currencies move. And I will tell you this, and this is a big advantage you're going to have over a lot of traders. And I'll tell you this as a futures trader too. The Forex markets are still largely ignored and misunderstood. One of my main tools as an index futures trader is the yen. A lot of, now who here is in the room that follows me in terms of some of those types of intraday futures trades, and you guys are starting to learn, wow, that yen gives us a tremendous edge. When you understand what moves the Forex market, the foreign exchange market, you're going to find you have an advantage in everything, because where is money not a factor? Where is understanding the trends that make central banks move not a factor, right? So the Forex markets are largely ignored and misunderstood, and the folks who understand it have a tremendous edge. The few who get it stand to gain and gain big. So I'm super stoked about everyone starting to realize that this market, the largest in the world, is one of those markets that can make you better at every facet of your game. So my experience, my 20 years, means that you can basically quicken your learning curve. You can avoid those frustrating pitfalls, gang. The pitfalls that I had to go through in 99, 2000, you guys can avoid them. What do they say? A smart person learns from their mistakes and a wise person learns from the mistakes of others. That's what I want to bring to you guys, that wisdom. So all the dumb things and the potholes that I tripped into, you guys don't. You will trade only the surest trends. Use the easiest time-tested tools. Choose simple platforms for order entry. I would tell you one of the most common questions I get is, Rob, how do I trade Forex? Who do I trade through? What platform do I use? Right? You want to keep things simple. You want to trade at the right time of day. This is a 24-hour market, which at first is really daunting. It's 24-hour, 5.5 days. That's how long the Forex market is open each week. And a lot of people are intimidated by that, saying, well, I can't sleep. Gang, I sleep just fine, like a champion. Because if you understand the right time of day, what a difference it makes. Most volatility in the Forex markets happens in just 3 hours. And I'll tell you what hours those are. It's 8 to 11:30 Eastern. When you learn to manage those 3.5 hours, you're going to realize you don't have to watch this thing 24 hours a day. No way. You can control risk. It's the easiest to control risk control market I trade. Flexible position sizing, brokers that are going to have, again, guarantee stops most of the time. There are certain circumstances, but it's the easiest market I have to control risk because of the access. 24 hours means you have access 24 hours, and you can place stop losses that respect the market volatility. The things that move Forex, the volatility events, are really very scheduled, much more than in futures and stocks. All right, so here are 3 things about Forex that are just plain wrong. Margin makes Forex riskier. We learned that's wrong. It doesn't at all. I can't control risk in Forex. The markets are open 24 hours a day. At any time in the day or night, you can get in or get out in the liquid pairs, which are mostly about 2 to 3 dozen pairs that are very liquid 24 hours a day. Another question I get is, Forex brokers are unregulated. Look, this is your partner in trading. A lot of questions I get focus on the Forex broker, and that is wrong. Forex is heavily regulated. The Forex brokerages are heavily regulated. In some ways, one of the most regulated amongst all the different asset classes that you're looking at. 3 things that are true, but you may not have known. You can know when volatility is going to happen. I'll tell you right now, gang, when you have certain websites, for example, like Forex Factory, that a lot of you have seen me use, you know when the volatility events are going to happen. Then there are tools I use to measure what the typical volatility is. If you're talking about crystal balls, this is as good as it gets. I know when the volatility is going to happen, and I can measure typically what it's done historically. You can control your leverage. That's another thing that a lot of folks forget. Do you have to trade with full 50-to-1 leverage? Absolutely not. You're going to want to. When I started trading Forex, you ready? It was 400-to-1. 400-to-1. It was amazing, because if you have the ability to find the trends, measure the volatility, know when it's going to come, you're going to wish it was 500-to-1, because you're not going to be intimidated by the horsepower that you have at your access. You can trade the trend intraday and longer term. I mentioned that earlier. Some folks want to be in those longer term trends like I showed you earlier, but you can absolutely day trade Forex. So if you just want to day trade those prime hours and then be done, like a lot of folks do with stocks and with futures, you can do that with Forex as well. And I think a lot of folks are surprised to find out that, oh, I can day trade Forex. I can hop in and out and be flat and then do it all over again the next day. Leverage lets you take smaller moves and get a lot more out of them, gang. So 3 advantages Forex traders have. And these are terrific advantages that I find really have no equal. The easiest watch list building that I do, and I trade stocks and I trade futures, the easiest watch list building that I do is in Forex. We're going to get into it here in just a moment. You have 2x supercharged trends. Why? Because Forex trading is trading one currency against the other. And if you can get that matching right, meaning your watch list building is rock solid, if you can get that matching right, you're going to get the best kind of trends, not only in the Forex market, but of any other kind of market that you trade. And as we talked about, and as I've shown you with those earlier trades, the euro, the pound, and the euro yen, you get a lot of horsepower. So small accounts get a lot of horsepower. So whether you're trading with a small account because you only want to allocate a certain amount of Forex to sort of try it out, or that's all you've got. Either way, you're going to get the most bang for your buck in the Forex market. So again, what is Forex? This is the most simple way that I know to describe what Forex is. Forex is trading two currencies at the same time. I pick the currency I think is strong and the currency I think is weak, and I trade them against each other. So you're supercharging a trend. Rather than trading just one half of a story, now you're trading two. And we'll talk about how you find those two. But again, you're trading two currencies at the same time. It's like having an engine firing on both cylinders. So let's get to it. How do we find pairs to trade? And contrast, the solution is contrast. If you guys can get this part of what I'm talking about right now, you're going to be further ahead. I'm telling you right now, I've traveled the world, talked to thousands, literally thousands of Forex traders, and not 1 in 100 understand this concept. They don't use it, even the experts. You focus on the weakest currency and you focus on the strongest currency, not the stuff in the middle. All right, so you find the strongest currencies, the weakest currencies, and you might say, okay, Rob, that sounds like it makes sense, but how do I do it? How do I find the contrast? How do I pit them against each other to get these 2x supercharged trends? So let me show you here. This is a simple little tool that I've used for a really long time. This is a tool called a heat map from Allanda. Some of you might have heard about Allanda. They're the biggest retail Forex brokerage out there. Heat maps make this contrast process really, really easy. At the top of this list are all the strong currencies, and at the bottom of the list are all the weak ones. And this graph right here, at plus 2.34%, all right, so the strongest is on the top, the weakest is on the bottom, and the contrast between the two is 2.34%. All right. Now, let me get a quick, I'll get some folks saying the audio is breaking up. Hey, gang, how's the audio? I know we got a few hundred folks in here. Audio is good here? Okay. Sometimes we're going to have very small pockets of audio issues. And again, it's being recorded, but it's good? Okay. All right. Thank you, gang. I just want to make sure. I mean, okay, fantastic. I appreciate that. Thanks for the feedback. It's choppy. So what I typically do, gang, is I kind of get a feel from everybody, and that lets me know if most folks are telling me it's working okay. I would say that it's probably not going to be on my end. All right. So I apologize. All right. Okay. So in terms of, all right, working fine. All right. Thank you, gang. I appreciate that. Thanks for letting me know. All right, I'm just making sure nothing funky is happening on my end, but thanks, gang. I appreciate it. All right, audio is fantastic. Okay. So this is from Allanda, yes. And by the way, gang, a lot of you know that Allanda is the largest retail brokerage out there, and they offer some terrific tools. This is their heat map. So if you learn to use tools like this properly, again, finding your watch list and ranking the pairs you're going to trade becomes really easy. So the other thing we want to do is understand the trend. That's structure. So structure is typically going to be, for us, wanting to take advantage of intraday or end of day trends. Some of you might already be familiar with the grab candles, but never thought to maybe consider them for Forex. But color-coded candles, the grab candles, really, quite frankly, are something you could use for every kind of trading that you're doing now. ETFs, futures, stocks, and of course, Forex. So always stick with the grab candle colors. Red for downtrends, green for uptrends, and blue means neutral. You master grab candles, you're going to find everything you do in trending in trend trading, especially the best trends in the world in Forex, are going to become second nature, visual, and much easier. So how do you know if a market's trending? Part of it is going to be picking the names that have contrast. Remember, pitting the strongest currencies against the weakest currencies. That is what begins your watch list. Then you move on to structure. The way that I found the Euro US, the Pound US, the Euro Yen, we're going to talk about those charts in just a bit, was by using grab candles. So here's a Euro US. This is exactly the point in time where I was taking advantage of that move and the trades that I showed you earlier. So there was a point in time in early 2018 that we were kind of crawling higher, higher, higher. Now, what's really cool is that the grab candles in the wave start telling you that the trend is really starting to falter, or at least take a break. So I'm not going to be bearish, but I'm going to be aware. That's huge. These red grab candles are popping up, blue grab candles, and all of a sudden right here, what do you have? You have an absolute breakdown of the trend. These are the kind of things, coupled with a little bit of understanding of what? Contrast. If you understand a little bit of macro too, and I'm not saying you need to know it, but boy, you're going to have an advantage if you understand contrast, a little bit of macro, and then the overall trend. You're going to see things that other traders simply can't, just by understanding a few nuances. And this was the chart that I used with just the grab candles to take advantage of the move lower. Here's the pound. Now, I showed you guys one part of the trade early on in the webinar here. That was what I showed you guys, was this part of the trade when things started moving higher. What I didn't show you was the fact that that win, that gain, well, it was almost like a mirror image. I'd taken almost, actually, maybe a little bit more out of the market when it was heading down. And then the market basically did what? It transitioned in here and then started giving me all the signs that it's time to get bullish. Contrast shifted, the macro shifted a little bit, and then I took the ride back up. The earlier when I showed you all the trades where I got in, where I got out earlier, that was just this half, right? I did almost the same, if not a little bit more over here too. So the shifts are really important, because forget the wins for a minute. Think of it this way. You know how many traders did not see the shift and figured, well, if I like shorting the pound from way up here, I'll short it again, and I'll short it again, and I'll short it again, and I'll short it. No, because what happened is the trend shifted. And a lot of traders are not aware of these shifts because they don't have things like grab candles and other tools. And what they do is think, well, I made so much money shorting this market, let's just keep on doing it. And they didn't know the market shifted. And this little area in here makes a huge difference. The market wasn't a downtrend any longer. So the folks that were smart were able to get maybe one half, the first or second part of this trend, but folks who understand grab, folks who understand direction, got two. All right, talk about 2x there. And the grab candles make the difference. Here's the Euro Yen. This was one of the great trends of 19 into 20, and I think it's going to continue to be a very interesting market to trade. The euro was a very weak currency. I shorted it against the US dollar. I, for a brief time, shorted it against the pound as well, and here's the trade against the yen. So as we see here, there was one color that dominated most of the move, and that's red. And then I want to show you all something else, and this is really important to understand. Right in here, the sentiment got very bullish for a brief amount of time, and folks started to buy. Now, if you understand what I teach, one of the things I talk about is not getting caught in what I would basically call a rope-a-dope. A lot of folks cut off a really great trade in here, went in the wrong direction, and kept buying and buying and buying until they realized, oh, the overall trend was really still dominant. This is a terrific trade for two reasons. I love when the consensus out there is saying, oh, yeah, the euro yen's turning around, but because I have grab candles and I understand the key macro, this is what allowed me to stay in this trend really for nearly the duration. I took it down to 120. It was a terrific trade. So what was the difference maker here? Understanding about the trend and measuring it against the grab. And this is just one part of this process. I mean, contrast is part of it. Macro is part of it. There's a couple other tools that I use to get more pinpoint accuracy, but look how simple just the most basic element of grab candles make understanding a trend, all right? Okay, so one of the things that I want you all to have the luxury, so it is a luxury. Most traders are very uncertain when they trade. They're scared to hit buy, they're scared to hit sell. They don't know whether they're trading the right pair, the right symbol. I want you to trade with confidence because confident traders follow their plan. Confident traders don't gamble, they have a process. So trial and error is how most of us find our process, right? But imagine if you did not have to go through trial and error. You'd avoid that. You avoid the fear that you're doing the analysis wrong. You're avoiding that tough learning curve. And I got to tell you something, gang. In any kind of trading, if you undergo a tough learning curve, there's a chance you might gut your account. And at that point, it's like, oh, I got to build my account back up before I do anything. And that's the kind of stuff that breaks my heart. I don't want you guys to go through this, right? I've never blown up an account in Forex and futures and anything because there's a few basic things that we have to know about money and a little bit of math. I guess I should use some math symbols that allow us to keep from doing really something that I think is not a rite of passage for traders. The long learning curve really anymore is not necessary. I wish I had these things started, and these are the things that I wish I had that I'm sharing with you guys. The other thing is you don't have to be up all the time. If someone tells you you have to be up at all hours of the night, you tell them, well, you're wrong. If you master 3.5 key hours of the day, whether that's a day trading or end of day trading approach, that's all you need. 3.5 hours really is where you're going to make most of your decisions. And you don't even have to look at it for those 3.5 hours. You just know at a certain time of day, most of your trades are going to trigger off in that window. All right. So what I hope at this point, gang, is that you're realizing whatever I was told about Forex, gosh, it doesn't really seem to pan out. It really isn't scary or confusing after all, at all. Yes. So stop missing out. Get off the sidelines. I mean, I think that for those of you that are on the sidelines with Forex, it's because a lot of those myths you thought were real, that it was the Wild West and it's unregulated and the margin's going to kill you and everything else. It's just wrong, right? So, right now, some of the fundamental things that most traders don't understand, like contrast, like the trends with the grab candles, right? Those are huge. And that margin is really a tool when put in the right hands with the right process. So margin, let small account folks engage a market because you can take a little bit of money and really, I believe, once you find a trend, ride that out. And it doesn't mean that you're going to blow your account up. A lot of folks think margin means you're going to blow your account up. If you're going to ignore contrast and structure, yeah, probably, right? But if you understand those and you understand how to build your watch list and follow the trends, far less risky. So you pick the right pair because you understand pitting the weakest currencies against the strongest currencies. You identify the structure with the time-tested tool, the grab candles, and you know how to harness and use margin. It's like for those of you that are horsepower junkies like me, who doesn't want more horsepower? But clearly, you got to control it. There's got to be a process, right? So on Saturday, coming up this week, this Saturday, we're going to be doing a class, the Forex Freedom class. Master the largest market in the world. If you haven't already picked up, I am super passionate about Forex because, again, it allows traders a lot of flexibility in terms of time. It isn't a 9:30 to 4 o'clock market. You can engage it in the way that fits your schedule, and you can engage it with smaller capital to see if it's a market that you really want to continue to scale and scale and scale, as I have over 2 decades. So what am I going to teach you? We're going to start from the ground up. If all you know about Forex is Forex, no problem. We're going to be talking about what Forex is, how to build those watch lists. I'm going to give you the entire process that I have fine-tuned over the course of 20 years, from the very beginning to what I'm doing right now. And that's what the strategy class is designed to be. In 4 hours, you're going to be able to understand and trade Forex, period. And then to boot, really what I want you guys to be able to do is use Forex as a platform to understand the macro, to understand currency trends, and get an edge on everybody else who's trading futures and options and stocks without this knowledge. How many folks are trading? I have a curiosity. How many folks out there are trading options and futures and ETFs and stocks, right? But have kind of stopped at Forex. Okay. A lot of you might have already seen me do this, and that's using the macro and using currencies as a way to get an edge in those other markets. So everything feeds into each other. Everything feeds to each other. So we'll be getting a lot into margin and things like that as well. And I'll cover some of these questions as well on margin and so forth. Yeah, I definitely see the questions, gang, and thank you for asking. So we're going to get into that. But one of the things that is two big things after teaching Forex for the better part on and off for 20 years, there's two things that I get a lot of questions about. Rag, how do we set up the charts? I want my charts to look like yours with your tools. So on Friday, we're going to get a jump start on the class, and we're going to do the bonus session. And you guys are going to get the tools that I use. I'm going to show you how to get everything that I use and set it up. So when we get into the class on Saturday, you're ready to go. I've set aside plenty of time, and this is something that I think is really important, because a lot of what keeps traders from moving into Forex is a lot of confusion about what platform, what charts, what broker, right? I get probably more than half of my questions about the broker. I'm in the US, I'm not in the US, which broker do I use, who can I trust? So that's definitely something we're going to touch on. I'll get to that in a moment. So the basic class is the indicator session and strategy class. Then we're going to do some live trading. All right, we're going to do some live trading. And that means that for 2 days for the pro, we're going to do the strategy class, the indicator installation, then we're going to trade live together. All right. And then if you want to do 4 live trading days, so 2 with the pro, 4 with the elite, one of the things that I'm going to be able to do more of, gang, in the elite is get more into day trading and clearly answer a lot more of your questions. More questions we can answer about the indicators and setups, and get 2 more days of working together, building setups and doing some day trading. And that's one thing that we'll have time to do in the elite, is a lot more of the intraday, more active trading. But again, you get 2 live trading days here, 4 here. And look, if you're ready just to kind of get ready with the strategy, you want to kind of get fluent in Forex, this is fine, gang. And then you can also, make your decision later on to do live trading. All right. So let's talk a little bit about the timing on this. And by the way, simplertrading.com/Forex, you can see all this information as well. These are the dates. So this Friday, right after the close, do the setup. Now, if we need more than an hour, we'll do it. It'll be recorded, so you can check it out and set your charts up before the class, or definitely before live trading. Our strategy class is going to go 10 to 2 this Saturday Central, 11 to 3 Eastern. 4 hours, gang. 4 hours of your time. We're going to get you fluent in Forex. The pro package, again, the live trading days are the 27th and 29th. We're going to spend an extra 7 hours together, at minimum, 7 hours, going through what we did in the class, and then start to find the live trades during those hours. And while I can't guarantee, clearly you guys know that we're all big boys and girls here. The goal for the trading days is always for you guys to recoup your investment in the class. That's always the goal. My goal every day is to wake up and find winning trades, but that's what we want to do here for those 2 days. The pro. All right, so finally the elite, 2 more trading days, so another 7 hours you get to spend together. And we're going to get a lot more into two of my favorite topics when it comes to Forex. We're going to cover this in class. We'll be able to do this live more in the elite with the extra 7 hours, and that's going to be getting into a little bit of macro as well as day trading. So February 3 and February 5, and alerts will be sent. If I haven't mentioned that already, I will be sending out alerts throughout the live trading for those of you in the pro and elite. Okay, so you will get alerts. Absolutely. And watch lists. Okay, alerts and watch lists. It's not just about some of the short-term trades, but if you're looking at, hey, how is Raghee building some of those trades so we can get some of those setups like she showed us earlier in the webinar, you know, those 13, 14, $17,000 type of trades. They don't happen in one day. They don't even happen in 1 week, but they get built over the course of days and weeks. And that's a lot of what we'll be able to get into as well. Now, I do want to mention this, gang, because this is where I inevitably get a lot of questions. Choosing the right broker is critical, and that's why we built this into the class, right? We built the conversation about brokers and platforms and who to trade through right into the class. Now, Ostrander is one of the largest, I think they still are the largest retail broker on the planet, and they're sponsoring this. That's how much they believe in what we're doing here with this class. They, you know, I've worked with them before. They know the content is solid. They want their business is to have traders stick around and trade through them. That's how they make money. They don't want their traders to blow up. So this is actually my second or third different event with Ostrander, right? So they're sponsoring this, and as well as Forest Park FX. So brokers don't want you to blow up, gang. If anyone out there thinks that's true, think again. Good brokers like Ostrander, like Forest Park, they want you to stick around. They want you to have a really good education. So you need a broker who's trustworthy. Ostrander was the company, by the way, gang, that when the Swiss franc went kablooey and put some brokers out of business, Ostrander made their traders whole. They did not get traders, the ones who were long the Swiss franc when it sold off. They actually forgave that. They actually did. They're one of the few that did. So, I mean, this is a good outfit, gang. So I personally use Forest Park and Ostrander for my Forex. And what we wanted to do is make sure that someone who's literally walked traders through the brokerage side, seen all the mistakes, seen traders blow up accounts and grow accounts, talk with you guys. So for 30 minutes, we're going to have built into the class the common mistakes that you need to avoid from a veteran who's seen all of it. And that's my buddy Justin over at Forest Park FX. He is my consigliere in Forex. If I have a Forex question for the brokerage side, he is my guy. If you have a question about account minimums and spreads and how to open your account and you're not in the US or you're in the US, he is the guy I talk to. And he's going to be actually spending time with us in the class. He'll be part of the class when we do our deep dive on the 25th. It's just that important. All right. And so this is Justin, and that's his contact information. Now, I mention this now because a lot of you are going to want your demos ready for live trading, or maybe you want a fund account and be ready for live trading. So I mention this now so you guys can get ready for Saturday and then for the first 2 live trading days. All right. So that's Forest Park FX and my buddy Justin. I've known Justin for, gosh, 5 or 6 years now, and he's just the best out there. So this is how you can reach Justin before the class. All right, Forest Park FX. All right, so let's tackle some questions, shall we? Justin is great. I completely agree. Can I agree? So yes, by the way, those of you that are asking, gang, I'm not here to tell you who to trade through. I just know that a lot of folks have questions about brokerages. But if you're with TD Ameritrade, sure. I mean, essentially you're trading through, I believe, don't hold me to it, but I believe they still white label Forex.com, which is fine. Justin works with Forex.com as well. And so, yeah, if you're with TOS and you want to trade through TOS, gang, I got you covered. You don't have to do anything. Sure. You know, not everybody here does. Do the indicators work on MetaTrader? D, absolutely. I have the MT4 indicators. And if there's a lot of folks on MT5, I can probably get those coded in the near future. But right now I do have the MT4, which is what most brokerages are still using. So if you use MetaTrader MT4D, yeah, I got you covered. And on Saturday, actually on Friday for the setup, I'll show you where to download all those indicators on Friday when we do the setup. All right, so let's tackle some more questions here. Will any of these trade opportunities be included in the gold room going forward? Matthew, thank you for asking. So after the class is done and moving forward in the futures room, yes, we will be incorporating Forex, a specific session every week. Every Wednesday, we're going to be incorporating Forex into the futures room. The futures room, yes, absolutely. So it's kind of like the double F room, futures and Forex, but once a week. And yes, we're going to start sending out alerts as well. You got it. Thank you for asking, Matthew. And thanks for asking also, because remember, we also do the currency futures. So those of you that are wondering, Rob, can I trade currency futures as well once I learn Forex? I mean, yeah, I would never trade currency futures without really understanding Forex. But yeah, there's so many ways to trade Forex. Absolutely. Whether that be looking at the Forex markets and executing them in futures and so forth. Absolutely. All right. So Alan S., I'm glad you asked the question, because I'll tell you what, I have no idea. The question is, Alan asks, can I trade this in an IRA, or how does the margin work? Can you short? Alan, that's why Justin is such a key part of this, this class, because a lot of the questions, I'm not a broker. I'm not supposed to disseminate this information, and I don't even know. I asked Justin. So I would highly recommend you reach out to him. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So the questions on toss, gang. Yeah, this comes with, so Jesse, I'm going to share all the different sites, tools, heat maps, indicators, everything that I use. And then eventually I'm looking at doing this in about the next 2 weeks, kind of going back to Matthew's question. We're going to also have, for those of you that are familiar with the hourly price movement ranges, we're going to have these for some of the majors, not all of them, because I don't day trade all of the majors, but we're going to have this for the majors that I like to day trade in the futures room. We're going to have the hourly price movement range volatility ranges for those as well. So yeah, we're definitely moving into making Forex a bigger part of the futures room. And that's going to allow currency traders in Forex and futures to take advantage of that, which is super exciting. All right, so long trends might be good for automated trading strategies. Dave, they sure can, but I'll tell you what, I won't say it's automated, but you can make, between the tools that I use, and I'll be sharing some of what I do right now, you can actually make it so process driven that apart from the automatic execution, you can absolutely sort of quote unquote automate it. And then eventually, if you, especially on MT4, you can do a lot of automated algos. Yeah, algos are huge on MT4. And Justin's another guy to talk to you about that, because you can absolutely, once you understand Forex, you can run algos on MT4, which is very cool. All right, so next up is, let's see. And yes, for those of you that asked about small accounts, this is, there's no other market that's going to let you start smaller with the leverage like Forex. Just nothing out there. All right, next is pips. So will I be showing you all how to read the quotes? Yes, absolutely. So Rich, to answer your question, in yen related pairs, it's the second decimal place, and in everything else, it's the fourth. You go after four. I should say, we go 2 decimal places out in yen pairs and 4 in everything else. Yeah, so I hope that helps. For end of day trading, what time of day? Dr. Bruce, I'll tell you what, if you're end of day trading, one of the things I teach is to use conditional orders like limit and stop orders to put the order out there and then use the historical price movement ranges to understand whether or not there's proximity to that order being hit on any particular session. So what does that mean? You'll know where you want to get in, long or short, and then by looking at typical price movement ranges, you'll know whether it's actually probable or not on a given day, or whether or not it's too far or too close, because the Forex markets move in a very predictable fashion. I'm not saying directionally, I'm talking about ranges that are put in every day, that those ranges are highly predictable. And that's what I mean about being able to truly measure and understand volatility, we have tools that I use for that. And that's also a component of better place stops and targets, profit targets. All right, next question is, so can you use MetaTrader 4 or TradeStation? So JC Dave, MetaTrader 4 is good, TradingView is good. TradeStation, you cannot execute the trades, but you can use it for charting. Sure. Owanda, Ken was asking who I trade with, Owanda, but I've got an account with Forex.com as well. But talk to Justin. He's definitely the guy that's going to kind of point you in the right direction in terms of, you know, what's best for you. And again, a question I get a lot of is, Rob, this is great, but I'm not in the US. He handles outside the US as well. So either way, you're covered. Do I recommend Owanda? Raphael, I like them very much. But again, when you talk to Justin, he might find that there might be a different trading partner, different broker partner that's right for you. So I would definitely recommend talking to him. But yes, I like Owanda very much, but they're not the only ones out there that are very, very good. He vets them. He'll explain what he does when you guys speak with him. But yeah, I do use Owanda. As far as how much to put in the account, again, talk with Justin. I would think a reasonable amount personally is between about 2,000 and 5,000. So that's I mean, if you're gonna, what would be a good area to start? I think 2,000 to 5,000, 2,000 to 5,000. Not much less, and quite frankly, not much more, because I want you guys to start small, build the confidence as we talked about, and then begin to scale. But remember, those earlier examples that I showed you were only 2 lot trades. 2, that's it. Not 20. I wasn't making those, you know, I wasn't taking a huge trade trying to capitalize on a small move. That's risky. That's risky. When I talked about it as a small position size following the trend, that's not risky. You take large position size for a small move. What if that small move goes against you? So that's where I find those kinds of trades very deceptive. Be careful when you see someone move a lot of size, taking advantage of a small amount of movement, because what if it went against them? That's a big, big hit. So small position size, take advantage of the trend. That's what I mean about safety. And those are the things that I'm going to teach you on Saturday, how I do that. Like I said, let me go back here. So you guys, it's a lot of slides, but just bear with me. All right, see these 2 lots, gang. These were 2 lot trades. So if the 2 lots go against me, all right, big deal, right? I'm not going to get hurt real bad. But if I had 20, right, or 120, and that little bit moved against me, that's a big hit. And that's a mistake a lot of traders make. A lot of traders make that mistake. Be careful when you see people move big size, you know? All right, next up is, hey there, Karthik. Karthik, we dived into, so the class that I did in Dallas, oh, okay, great question. The class that I did in Dallas, that was a general overview. I think that's a great compliment. I mean, if you're a member of the futures room, so you get that advantage for sure. But we're going to get into more detail on margin and more detail on watch list building and so forth. And then also what I think is going to move in 2020. So it's definitely looking forward and preparing you for the year. Yeah, no doubt. But thank you. It's not a dumb question at all. Not at all. Not at all. Would I recommend Forex over futures? Cassius, here's what I tell you. Do all of it. Do all of it. I would never tell you, unless one isn't working for you, right? But I would tell you, trade it all. When you look at the market from a Forex or futures standpoint, though, I find that greatly advantageous over looking at the market from a stock standpoint only. When you understand futures and Forex, you understand money and you understand the goods that are used all over the planet. And is there a single stock or ETF out there that is somehow omitted from money, central banks, or commodities affecting them? Not a single one, right? So I would not recommend one over the other. And that's why I say, because Forex can be started with such a small sum of money, just take a little bit, put it aside, and then take advantage of that leverage. And then do both. When you can do both, you're really, I think, able to take advantage of some great moves. 8 to 11:30 is Eastern. Which platform is best, Jesse? I'm going to cover a lot of different platforms. What's best is the one that you like. What's best is the one that works for you. Some people like MT4, others like TradingView. Some folks like Toss. I mean, there's quite a few out there. And as far as what's best, it's really what you're comfortable with, quite frankly. I won't show you any bad ones. How's that? I definitely on Friday won't be walking you through anything that I don't use myself. All right. Zahn, I know from firsthand from folks who reported back to me on Awanda. Again, I can't account for all of it, but I do know that if folks were in the trade and they went negative, yeah, they emitted that move that happened during the Frank. Yeah, I have a lot of people that told me when they went negative, Awanda did help out. Yeah, they did. Now, did they do that for everybody? That I can't account for. But the folks that were trading with me at that time, a few of them did get caught. I mean, we were in the Swiss franc, but some folks were doing other kinds of trades and they had exposure to the franc. That's how I know. That's how I know. And they reported back and said, no, Awanda helped us out. So I can't account for everybody, but I can count for the folks who told me that, you know, they were made whole, which was unbelievable. All right, let's see. Hang on, again, I'm just kind of scrolling up the questions here. If one loses a trade, don't they have to pay a PK? I don't know what the context was for the question, so my apologies. If you lose a trade, yeah, it's going to cost you money, no doubt, no doubt. But that's why I'm so adamant about position sizing. You know, one thing that we'll be diving into heavily is how granular and how specific we can get with position sizing. And that has everything to do with measuring entry versus stop loss. So position sizing is huge. We don't get in with big size. We use the leverage, we use the margin, right? And we take advantage of trends. So that way, if the trade moves against us in the early stages of the entry, we're not stopped out before the party begins. And that's big. I think a lot of traders pile in too heavily on the onset. And if the market moves against them for a little bit, they get stopped out only to watch the market move back in their favor. Anyone experienced that before, right? So position sizing is huge. And I think in terms of the entry, let's talk about entries again, relating to your question. If you're not available at certain hours of the day, no problem. What I'll be showing you is the volatility throughout the day so you can better understand when your fills are more likely to trigger, and therefore how to use conditional orders when you can't be at the helm, when you can't be at your desk. Does that mean that the prime volatility hours change? No, they don't. But I'll talk about how every single hour presents a different amount of volatility. But if you know that you should have your orders in sometime between those prime time hours, you'll know, okay, I can't be at the desk, but I do know I want to get in at this price and I should have my conditional orders placed by that time of day. Does that help? So even if you can't be available, it's going to help your timing. All right, so here we go. Yeah, and in terms of in terms again of trading times, gang, it is a 24-hour market, 5.5 days a week. I mean, we can't account for all the different moves, but insomnia is not a trading strategy that I execute at all. You've got to be able to, you know, sleep, clearly. Trade other markets was great. But if you know that certain times of day are the higher volatility moves, and if you know that there's certain economic events happening at certain times of day, you can time your entries, even if you can't be at the desk. All right, so some of the questions, gang, as far as wash rules and you know, IRAs and things like that, that's why Justin's going to be here, gang. That's why Justin's going to be here. He has the knowledge. He can point you in the right direction. And again, Justin's part of this course. It's definitely a perk having someone with his knowledge. I'm a trader, gang. That's what I do. You know, you put a chart in front of me, you give me an order entry platform, and I get to work. But beyond that, that's why we need a partner like Justin. That's why we need brokers that, we can pick up the phone and ask those questions of. And that's why I've asked Justin, and he's been gracious enough to, offer his time and make sure that we get these questions answered. So he will definitely be part of our time on Saturday. And yes, the rebate checks at Forest Park are a nice bonus. Chad, thank you for mentioning that. I don't want to take away Justin's thunder, but yeah, there's a lot of perks. There's a reason I brought Justin on board. Again, there's a reason Awanda is sponsoring this, because they want their traders to succeed. All right. Let me see if there's anything else that I missed. Is Forex like the stock market where the movers can see your orders? Bob, the Forex market trades about $3 to $5 trillion per day, 24 hours a day, 5.5 days a week. So even if I'm moving, let's say I take 10 full-size lots, even if I'm moving $1 million on margin, no one's going to see that. I think one of the benefits of being a small trader compared to a $1 trillion market, most traders are small, is I'm just kind of mixed up into the flow. The trick is to understand volatility, timing, and major and minor psychological levels. Yeah. It's not, by comparison, the futures and the stock markets are minuscule compared to Forex. So we can hide a lot better, right? Remember I said I kind of didn't like being in money. Yeah, those were things those were headaches I had when I was managing money. And there were months that I was moving a yard. A yard is $1 billion in currency. And it's tougher. But when I went back to just being me and moving my capital and managing my own money, yeah, you're stealthy again. It's like being a ninja. All right, gang. So just kind of wrap up this one more time here. Again, we're going to have the class on Saturday. I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys on Saturday. We're going to build a rock solid foundation Forex in just 4 hours. Justin's going to be a part of that. So a lot of those questions you guys have, we're going to get you going, right? 4 hours. Everything that I've been doing for 20 years, we've distilled what you need to know. And that's exactly what you're going to get on Saturday. Then we're going to have those live trading sessions, 2 live trading sessions for the pro folks, 4 for the elite folks. A lot of folks ask me, Rob, apart from the extra days, what do we get? We're going to dive into macro because we're going to have the time. We're going to dive more into day trading because we're going to have the time. So we'll be able to dive into more on those extra elite days, 4 of them. And then some day trading in the pro class as well. Again, we get to dive into it a little bit more on the elite. So will we be doing day trading on the pro? Absolutely. Absolutely. It's just in the elite, we get more time to dive into everything. All right. So are these sessions recorded? Yes. Will we be sending out alerts? Let's say you sign up for the pro or elite, but can't be there for all 7 hours of the pro and all 14 hours of the elite. Absolutely. I will be sending out alerts. Day trading alerts, as well as longer term end of day alerts and watch lists as well. Can you use Ninja Trader? Joe, you absolutely can. And we actually do have for Ninja 8, for NT8, we have the indicators. So yes, on Ninja. So for those that are doing that. And again, as much as I've mentioned Justin Gang, if there's a platform you like, no problem. I probably do have the indicators on there, just not for all of them. So Ninja, yes. TradingView, yes. MT4, yes. Toss, yes. TradeStation, yes. But remember, you cannot trade Forex through TradeStation. Okay, so is no commission too good to be true? Kevin, we've always paid the spread in Forex, so it's not free. There is a cost, but it's the spread. And we'll definitely get more into that on Saturday. But the bottom line is we're seeing a lot of brokers in the stock and option space understand that you can make a living with the spread, as the Forex brokers have done for 2 decades now. So it's not that it's free. Oh, no, right? You are paying a spread, but you're not paying a commission. And there's spreads in stocks, there's spreads in futures, there's spreads in options. Most of you know that. That's the difference between the bid and the ask. But we'll definitely be diving into that and how to minimize that cost as much as possible. Will it be an ongoing alert service? So Joe A, what we're gonna be doing is just rolling this into the futures room. So those of you that are in the futures room, the gold futures room, we're gonna be rolling this into that. So if you're a futures member or interested in it, we're going to be covering Forex. There'll be a dedicated session, and we will be doing more currency futures alerts as well as Forex currency alerts. Can you use volume weighted average price of a V profile tape reader? Not in the sense that we can in futures and stocks and ETFs, because we don't have a exchange market. It's off exchange, so there's no way to account for all volume. So it would not be as accurate, and therefore the answer really is no on that. But there's other ways to work around volume and liquidity, and I use other tools to do that, and I'll definitely share that with you on Saturday. All right. So gang, thank you for joining me for the last 75 minutes. I hope that you got a better idea of what it is that Forex can add: contrast, margin, structure. We're definitely going to get into more of that, but I hope again, we're erasing some of the bad information that's been disseminated about Forex for 2 decades, and it just kills me that there are terrific trend following trades to be made here. There is a lot of understanding about global economies, and futures traders can benefit from this. Stock traders can benefit from this, understanding what moves the currency market. Okay. All right. So I look forward to. A couple of folks are asking about the times, the packages. Okay, let me roll back here. So these are the different times. The bonus session is on the 24th. We're going to be going at least an hour, hour and a half. I will make sure we get everyone's questions answered on the indicator installation, so you guys are ready for the live trading. Live trading for Pro is the 27th and 29th. If you're doing the Elite, you get the Pro days and the Elite days. So that's the 27th, 29th, February 3rd, February 5th. It's all being recorded. There will be alerts sent out, so if you have to step away, no problem. We got you covered. The strategy class, the bonus installation session will all be recorded. By the way, so will the live trading days as well. So everything's recorded. If I'm on the mic, it's going to be recorded. If I've got a trade to send out, it's going to be sent out as an alert. So there's all the timing there for that. All right, gang, thank you so much, and I will see you on Saturday, okay? All right, rest up. We're going to start on Friday with the installation session, and then we're going to get right into the class on Saturday. All right, gang, be good to each other. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you on Friday.